We've been talking about planets and our solar system and our Milky Way galaxy and our universe in terms that we can understand, at least to some degree. Terms like light years. When we discuss planets which exist in the habitable zone, we read that the closest planet that could possibly host life near us is only 4 light years away. Wow, that sounds close. Let's pack up and go visit Proxima Centauri b. But I wouldn't pack my bags. The fact is, it's not going to happen. You see, when we say only 4 light years away, that may sound close, but especially when we know it would take more than 26,000 years to travel to the center of the Milky Way galaxy. 4 compared to 26,000 makes it sound like it's practically next door. And then compare the 4-year trip at the speed of light to Proxima Centauri b. Compare that to a trip from one end of the Milky Way to the other, which would take at least 4 times longer than just going from the Earth to the center of the Milky Way. That's a trip lasting more than 100,000 years traveling at the speed of light. And just for a little more perspective of how close Proxima Centauri b is at only 4 light years away, it would take us 5.5 million years to get from the Milky Way to the closest next galaxy, which is called Andromeda M31. Scientists estimate that there are at least 2 trillion galaxies in our universe, and the closest galaxy to the Milky Way is 5.5 million years away, traveling at the speed of light. And traveling at the speed of light, you would never reach the edges of our universe, because by the time you get to the edge as it stands today, the universe has already been expanding faster than the speed of light, and that means it's permanently out of reach. And we consider all that vastness, and then the idea of traveling only 4 light years to reach the nearest habitable planet, Proxima Centauri b, sounds doable, right? Not a chance. With today's technology, the fastest trip to Proxima Centauri b would take up to 90,000 years. And even if you pretend we could build a ship traveling at top speeds non-stop for several millennia, which is not possible to do because of engine breakdown and the massive fuel required, it would take 7,000 years. Think of that. Even at peak performance, beyond anything actually realistic, using the most modern technology, it would take longer to get to Proxima Centauri b than all of recorded human history. And biblically speaking, the fall of Adam happened around 6,000 years ago, so if the punishment for the serpent were to have been blasted into space, he could have traveled at top speeds by modern standards and still be 1,000 years away from Proxima Centauri b. Now you may ask, how is that evidence for God? Well, when you step out of the theoretical science and step away from the realm of the almost nonsensical world of astronomical numbers in terms of light years and such, a thing called common sense tells you that, especially in light of all the information provided in the previous 195 Evidence for God devotionals, running about 16.5 hours of audio, creation is not some incomprehensible cosmic accident with no intelligence behind it all. As a matter of fact, the evidence is so overwhelming that the God-rejecting crowd is now increasingly buying into the idea that the whole universe is a highly advanced computer simulation. But who's behind the simulation? Even if it were a simulation, there has to be an intelligent being we call God. But it's not digital or computer, it's the Word of God. Hebrews 11:3 explains that through faith we understand that the worlds were framed by the Word of God, so that things which are seen were not made of things which do appear. That's the phrase ex nihilo, and we'll talk about that more next time, Lord willing, as we continue with Evidence for God.